Alright, anyways. Now, I should have mentioned this earlier, and I was going to, and I forgot. Because I'm just glad just glad I thought of something, but... Anyways, remember... It made me realize it when I thought of something. But remember earlier, someone posted a picture on Facebook of Orton RKOing Rollins.
And going.
Yeah, and you had asked me, well, wait, they're on the same side, why did Orton RKO Rollins? And I said, well, they're starting to face turn for Orton, or so it seems.
Yeah.
And he's like, but he just turned heel. It's like, yeah, I know it. But what they're working for is the Authority versus Team Cena for Survivor Series. And so far it looks like Cena and Ziggler versus so far Rollins and Kane. And they're supposed to do, well, if you read the dirt sheets, which those are always hit and miss, they were supposed to do something like this at the beginning of the year around Mania time, that Vince McMahon was supposed to be involved in a storyline. And so Vince started Raw, and they brought him out, and he's like, well, there's going to be, at Survivor Series, Team Cena versus Team Authority. But if the Authority loses, the Authority is going to be gone from Raw. And so the reason why they're doing that is that the rumor is that Stephanie's pregnant. So...
all of a sudden, really thirsty.
But so, I mean, it makes perfect sense to do it now. In order to write him off TV. I mean, like, they wrote Orton off of TV so that he could go do Condemned 2. But, I mean, Survivor Series is in St. Louis, so Orton could always do that surprise pop-up in St. Louis. So, I mean, they could probably give Orton a day off. I mean, that's the last I heard that they could do. So, I mean,
yeah, you could get a day off so he could be in it.
Right.
I'm surprised, he's not supposed to be in it, but yet
right.
he is.
And so if that happens, so if the Authority loses, I mean, you could kind of assume, but I don't know, until it happens, like, I don't know if it's true or not, but, and this just dawned on me that WWE has replaced the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view with an event called Fastlane, and so, like, because basically, like, the road to WrestleMania, they're calling it the Fastlane, basically Fastlane to WrestleMania. So that's starting in February, and last I heard. But what they're doing with the Chamber pay-per-view, they're moving to like June or July, because it's the same concept as doing it in February. Whoever gets wins that gets a shot at Mania, a title shot at Mania. They're moving it to the summer, that way the winner of this Chamber can get a title shot at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Same concept, but just doing it in a different event. So, which I don't even know. I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, really, Fastlane.
Yeah.
Why don't they just put it, like, name it something original, so Fastlane. We've had Over the Limit. Why not Fastlane? But, anyways, now to our final topic of the night. I thought about this earlier, and it just kind of came to me, and I figured it'd be a good way to close the show.
Okay.
We welcome you to Story Time with Dom. Yes, my nickname's Dom, by the way. So if I'm ever referenced a Dom in a show, this guy.
This was before. This is how we used to do this. Oh no, wait, that was different.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Anyways, welcome.
That was a different show.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Anyways, welcome to Story Time with Dom. With your host, Dom. Okay, I'll throw a Cento in it too. Anyways, but
I thought I was gonna say with my little servant over here. That's Cento.
Oh,
like
no.
you did last time.
Anyways, just I don't know, just like
Was it Labor ever?
I don't know, but anyways. I've been really getting into like the shoot interviews and stuff like that, like, and they're so different from like something WWE would release rather than, them saying, well, hey, I'm so and so, I grew up here, then, I worked here, but yet, okay, now we're in WWE, now we're just gonna talk about only WWE related stuff. They would be like, well, oh yeah, are there any? Then, like, in the bonus features, you'll get, like, a road story or something like that. But, like, basically, it would be, like, me talking and saying, well, yeah, I grew up here. And then, like, someone will ask, like, well, what was it like growing up here, and how did you get into wrestling? And they're like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Then they're like, oh, well, you worked here. What was it like working for this guy and working with this guy and this guy and that guy? And we're like, oh, well, here's what it was like. Then, it's like, well, are they like, do these people come off like, oh, he seems nice, like, on TV, but yet is he the same way off TV as he is on? Oh, blah, 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 I mean, it's so different from what a WWE documentary would be, but...
I mean, sometimes, like you said, they're different, like, off TV and on TV.
Right.
Like, some people can be faces on TV, but they're complete total assholes in real life, or vice versa.
Right.
Or they are the way they are on TV.
Right. But I mean, someone, like, they're so good. I mean, I prefer watch a shoot interview over to something WWE releases because, like, they're, like, if it's a shoot interview, I mean, it means it's real. I mean, they're not affiliated with anyone, so they're not sitting there saying, well, you ask me, well, be like, oh, well, what's this person like? Oh, he's a good guy, I'd work with him all the time. But then if you're on a shoot interview, someone can ask that same question and be like, no, it's like, you know what, he was always a jerk to me, what he's on TV is the exact opposite of how he is outside, or off of TV. So, then, like, some of the stories they tell are really are so good. I mean, you couldn't, like, I don't know, you have to be there, I guess, but I mean, they're just funny to hear. Like, right when football season started, I started a fantasy league team, and Mikey Whipwreck, yes, the same Mikey Whipwreck that wrestled in ECW, what?
I just now thought of a song I could have downloaded. Oh well.
But, anyways, Mikey Whipwreck tweeted something about a name in his fantasy league group, or his fantasy league, and it was something like, I forget what it was. It's like, I touched down something, but anyways, and I replied to it, like, I forget what it was, but anyways, and so, it's like, you tweet someone famous like that, and it's like...
And they tweet you back?
Yeah, right? It's like, oh, well, oh, hey, here, like, hey, how's your fantasy team doing? You expecting, you get like a 1 in a million shot at him replying, then 5 minutes later, all of a sudden you get a thing on your, computer screen where you have your email on it, and then you go to check your email, then all of a sudden they tweet you back, and it's like, what? He replied? I mean, some of them out there are actually, they take the time and say, oh, hey, blah, 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 yeah. Others are like, they never replied no matter how many times you tweet them. And so, like, there was, like, throughout, like, a span of, like, 2 weeks, or maybe week or two, I'll say that, where he probably sent me 8 tweets probably. And it's about fantasy football. You know, it's like, wow, that's cool, you know, that, you know, someone up here would talk to someone like that down here, you know, rather than, you know, you're just some dumb mark who doesn't know what they're talking about, you know, why are you communicating with me?
Mm-hmm.
So now, then, since we're talking about emails and tweets, a couple weeks ago, no, I told you this,
Mm-hmm.
I ordered from High Spots a while back, well, it was a couple months ago. It was Bill Watts and Jim Cornette shoot interview.
Yeah.
And this is volume 2. And I thought, and High Spots never had volume 1. And I thought, well, I want volume 1 to go with volume 2, you know? I mean, it doesn't make sense to have one without the other.
Especially it being the later one.
Right.
And you know what the hell happened before.
Right, and I'm sitting there, and I checked Amazon, I checked eBay, I think Gil Hastings, I checked Ring of Honor's website, I checked almost everything I could think of. I even Googled it, thinking maybe, well, if I Google it, it'll lead me to another site that I don't know about where I can get it or something like that. Nothing, and I even checked Jim Cornette's website, thinking maybe he might have a copy of it on there. Checked all these sites, never found it. And I found one copy of it, but it was over off of eBay, but it was in like Germany or somewhere like that. But even though it says it's region free, being able to play anywhere in the world, it was like $40. And I thought, well, I wouldn't want to waste $40 and get it, and all of a sudden, oh, it won't play on my Blu-ray player or something like that. So I
mean, if it was a bit cheaper, you probably would have risked it.
Right, and I got the DVD for $5. So I mean, it's not like it's. I figured, well, if it's a little bit older, I might be able to get it for the same price. So I emailed Jim Cornette's website, and like when you get to it, like it'll say, please give your email address, and like there's like a little thing you can click on, like the topic, and it'll say like a little things like, what are you inquiring about, like, you know, tickets to something or something like that. And it was like, there's an Ask Jim, and I was like, you know, hey, I was like, you know, I ordered, you know, the Bill Watts Jim Cornette shoot interview recently, but it's volume 2. I was like, you know, I checked Ring of Honor, I checked this site, that site, this site, that site, you know, I can never find it. I was like, well, and I was just wondering, do you know of any sites where I could possibly find that DVD? Because,
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if you know where I can get a hold of it, you know, let me know. You know, if not, you know, that's fine. And so, like 2 or 3 days go by, I get up and I check my email. There's an email that said like Jim Cornette at whatever. I open it and I think, oh, it's going to be someone saying, well, you know, oh, thanks for your question, you know, we'll get back to you eventually. So I read it. It's from Jim Cornette himself. And it says, well, Ring of Honor, I'm paraphrasing, it basically said, well, Ring of Honor basically quit making / selling that DVD. And he's like, you know, I don't know why, but he's like, you know, eBay is probably going to be, eBay or a site like that's going to be your best bet to find it. And he's like, you know, I have one in my own library, and he's like, if you can't, he's like, I can't legally give you a copy of it, but he's like, if you can't find it, he's like, let me know, maybe you can work out a deal. So I thought, wow. It's like, I mean, I would never have thought someone would be like, yeah, I have it, I've got it, if you can't find it, let me know. We'll work out something. And it's like, it would mean that much more to me because it's like, you know, that would be like getting a Cadillac out of Elvis's like collection. You know, it's like some literally he had in his hands. You know, but then it's like it would mean that means that much more. It's like, thanks. I mean, it's like you're grateful for it, but you're also stunned.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, wow, it's like I wouldn't want to take it from him. You know, it's like you want it, but it's like you wouldn't have the heart to just say thanks. You know, but I mean, it's tainted, but yet kind of in a good way, but yet also in a bad way because it's like I feel bad for taking it when you shouldn't. You know.
But yet you want it.
Right.
And especially the fact is that it's also from his own personal collection.
Right. Have you seen his personal collection?
No.
His.
I mean, that's another reason why you might want it at the same time, but that's only mostly your, like your instinct, the other instinct, and then at the same time you feel guilty.
Right. But it's like, I don't know, it's just like, wow. Yeah, here's his website. Now, if I can...
Find it?
No, I found it. So if I can get the picture to come up. Now, let's see.
No, I wish I had a computer so I know what the hell my friend's doing. She's annoying the hell out of me. Just put it this way. My friend is going really, really slow, right?
Yeah.
Responding.
Yeah.
And she is like she's literally on with someone, like, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're like literally 0 meters away from each other. They're exactly the same amount of distance away.
That's nice.
From me.
Okay, now look at this.
What?
That's Jim Cornette's vault.
Holy shit. That's more than you do.
Yeah, I know it. Alright. Now, for those of you that know who Jim Cornette is, he's wrestling manager, he's been on a booking committee, he's been a manager, booking committee, you know, commentator, you know, he helped Ohio Valley Wrestling, like he managed it and stuff like that, so he knows what he's talking about wrestling-wise. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. Just, like, I'll go and do one of his stories here in a few minutes, and
so much for being quickly.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's I find him hilarious, and so he has. I'll read you this off of his site. Then I'll flip the camera around. And I'll show you the picture. Okay, this is from the JimCornette.com, his website. It says the climate-controlled custom-built vault at Castle Cornette came as a result of nearly 50 years of collecting cool stuff. Stored in here is Jim Cornette's pro wrestling collection, containing more than 5,000 magazines and programs, 3,000 plus videotapes, 15,000 photos, large stacks of newspapers, clippings, fan publications, reference material documenting the history of the sport. There are also 10,000 comic books, ranging from the 1930s to the 70s, hundreds of related paperbacks and toys, a large vintage Disney collection, thousands of horror, sci-fi, entertainment, news, and music magazines. So then, like, you can actually order stuff from him, and I'm thinking about doing it. Like, there's a Midnight Express 2-disc DVD that I thought about ordering, and he'll autograph it for you. So, I mean, it's worth it. So now, here is the picture of Jim Cornette's vault. Sorry if it's a crappy photo, but make sure I get this right here. See, look at that. I'll even back up a little. Now see, that's more than what I've got. Like, probably 5 times more than what I've got.
I mean, you basically...
I've got a lot, but I don't have that much.
You basically got at least half of, like, the left bookshelf.
Right, I mean, I've got action figures, movies, magazines. I have the very last WWE magazine, too.
Do you?
Yeah, all the places in town. Looked at Marsh. Didn't have it. Walmart didn't have it. CVS, both of them didn't have it. I found it at Speedway, gas station. I looked like 5 or 6 places before I finally found it. So, I should have bought the other 3 that they had since this is the last publication of it. I could always keep one and sell the other 2 at a later date.
I mean, you could have sold it to me too.
Yeah.
You finally take another drink, eh?
Yeah.
After so long.
But anyways.
I actually finished off my pop in a short amount of time.
But anyways. Sorry for the messy hair.
Long hair too. You're growing it out again.
Yes. But anyways.
So you had earmuffs. Now I wish I let my hair grow out. Instead I ended up cutting it.
But anyways, back to the stories that I was going to say.